Let's continue the story. Dr. Seward and Professor Van Helsing arrived at the Berkeley Hotel. There, Van Helsing received a telegram from Mina Harker. She said that she was coming by train and had important news. Van Helsing was very happy. He told Dr. Seward to meet Mina at the station and take her to his house. Before leaving, Van Helsing gave Seward copies of Jonathan Harker's diary and Mina's diary. He told him to read them carefully because they contained important information about Dracula. When Mina arrived at the station, Seward recognized her immediately. They traveled together to his house, which was also an asylum. Mina felt a little nervous when she entered the building. Later, Mina went to Dr. Seward's study. She heard him talking and thought another person was in the room. However, he was alone. He had been recording his diary on a phonograph. Mina was fascinated by the machine and asked to hear it. Seward became uncomfortable because the recordings contained personal and painful memories, especially about Lucy's death. Mina suggested typing the diary so it would be easier to read. Seward was shocked at first because the story was very terrible. But Mina showed courage and honesty. She explained that she wanted to help in the fight against Dracula. Seward realized he could trust her. Mina listened to Seward's recordings and typed them onto her typewriter. While listening, she became very emotional and cried because she could hear the pain in Seward's voice when he spoke about Lucy. When they met again, Mina told Seward that everyone needed to share information openly. She believed that only by working together could they defeat Dracula. She convinced Seward that there should be no secrets among their group. Mina explained that she and Jonathan had been working day and night to collect information about Dracula. Van Helsing had gone to Whitby to learn more and would return soon. Mina's intelligence, courage, and determination impressed Seward. He finally agreed to let her help fully. The chapter ends with the group preparing to share all their knowledge and unite against Dracula. They know that a dangerous battle lies ahead, but they are determined to face it together. After dinner, Mina and Dr. Seward went to his study. Dr. Seward brought the phonograph, and Mina brought her typewriter. Mina listened to the recordings about Lucy's death and the terrible events that followed. The story shocked her so much that she felt weak and exhausted. Dr. Seward gave her some brandy to help her recover. However, Mina stayed calm and decided to focus on helping. She suggested organizing all their information in date order so that everyone could better understand the whole story. She spent the evening typing Dr. Seward's diary and making copies. Mina borrowed old newspapers and began reading them carefully. She remembered that newspaper reports had helped her understand Dracula's arrival in Whitby, so she hoped to find more useful clues. Instead of sleeping, she continued working late into the night. Jonathan traveled to Whitby to trace Dracula's cargo. He spoke with shipping workers, railway officials, and transport companies. He discovered that Dracula had planned everything very carefully. The cargo consisted of 50 boxes of common earth. Jonathan collected records and documents showing where the boxes had been transported after arriving in England. Jonathan learned that all 50 boxes were delivered to Carfax, Dracula's old house near London. The workers described the building as very dusty, neglected for many years, dark and frightening. They especially disliked the old chapel inside the property. Jonathan suspected that Dracula was using Carfax as a hiding place. Dr. Seward went to see Renfield. Surprisingly, Renfield seemed calm, happy, and completely sane, but Seward did not trust this change. He remembered that Renfield's strange behavior often matched Dracula's movements. This made Seward wonder if Renfield somehow knew that Dracula's plans were succeeding. Mina was very happy when Jonathan returned. She noticed that he seemed stronger, braver, more determined. Together they organized all the diaries, letters, and evidence. Everything was ready for the arrival of Professor Abraham Van Helsing and the rest of the group. Mina felt excited because they were finally gathering all the information needed to fight Count Dracula. Later that day, Lord Godalming and Quincy Morris arrived earlier than expected. Dr. Seward and Jonathan were away, so Mina welcomed them. The meeting was emotional because it reminded everyone of Lucy and the dreams she once had for the future. Mina knew that both men had loved Lucy, but they did not know that she knew about their marriage proposals. To help them understand everything, Mina gave them copies of all the diaries and documents she and Jonathan had organized. As Lord Godalming looked through the large stack of papers, he became emotional. He said he did not fully understand everything yet, but he trusted Mina and the others because of all the hard work they had done. When he mentioned Lucy, he could no longer hold back his feelings. He covered his face and began to cry. Mina gently comforted him and told him that she had loved Lucy too. She offered to be like a sister to him in his time of sorrow. Lord Godalming finally released the grief he had been hiding for a long time. He cried openly and rested his head on Mina's shoulder like a tired child. Mina felt deep sympathy for him and comforted him with kindness. After a while, he calmed down and thanked her. He told her that no one had been able to understand his pain before. He promised that he would always help her if she ever needed a friend. Mina promised the same. From that moment, they became like brother and sister. Later, Mina met Quincy Morris standing by a window. He asked about Lord Godalming and understood that Mina had been comforting him. Although Quincy was also suffering because of Lucy's death, he hid his pain and remained strong. Mina felt sorry for him and offered her friendship as well. She told him that if he ever needed comfort, he could come to her. Quincy was touched by her kindness. He kissed her hand respectfully and thanked her. Then he said, "Little girl, you will never regret that true-hearted kindness." These were the same words he had once spoken to Lucy. Lord Godalming and Quincy Morris arrive. Mina gives them all the documents to read. Lord Godalming breaks down in grief over Lucy. Mina comforts him and becomes like a sister to him. Quincy Morris is also touched by Mina's kindness. The group grows closer and stronger together before facing Dracula. See you in the next chapter. Welcome back to our Dracula series. In this chapter, the hunters take their biggest step yet against Dracula. As they prepare to search Carfax, a mysterious bat appears, and Renfield desperately begs to be set free, warning that something terrible is about to happen. Is he truly mad, or is he trying to save everyone? Let's find out in today's exciting chapter. Dr. Seward comes home at 5 p.m. Lord Godalming and Quincy Morris are already there. They read all the diaries and letters. Jonathan Harker is still away. Mina Harker serves tea. Dr. Seward says the old house finally feels like a real home. Mina asks Dr. Seward for a favor. She wants to meet Renfield. She is interested after reading about him. Dr. Seward agrees to take her. Renfield asks Mina to wait. Before she enters, he quickly eats all the flies and spiders. Dr. Seward thinks Renfield is hiding something. He watches carefully in case Renfield attacks Mina. Mina smiles and says hello. Renfield looks at her carefully. He asks if she is the woman Dr. Seward wanted to marry. Mina says she is Jonathan Harker's wife. Renfield tells Mina, "Don't stay here." Mina asks why. Renfield does not explain. Renfield suddenly speaks politely. He explains his strange belief. He believed eating living creatures would give him more life. He admits he once tried to kill Dr. Seward because he believed blood gives life. Mina says goodbye. Renfield says, "May God bless you. I hope I never see you again." Dr. Seward is surprised. It sounds like Renfield knows danger is coming. Dr. Seward goes to the train station. Van Helsing arrives. He is happy to see everyone. Seward tells him everything that happened. Mina has a clever mind. She has a kind heart. God made her special. She has helped the group greatly. Van Helsing says Mina should stop helping. The men will fight Dracula alone. They want to protect Mina from danger. Dr. Seward tells Van Helsing that Dracula bought the house next to the asylum. Van Helsing is shocked. He wishes they had known earlier. Maybe Lucy could have been saved. Mina writes today's events. She asks Van Helsing if her notes should be added. He says every detail is important. Everyone finishes reading the records. They will meet at 9 p.m. They will make a plan to defeat Dracula. After dinner, everyone meets in Dr. Seward's study. Van Helsing sits at the head of the table. Mina becomes the secretary and takes notes. Jonathan sits beside Mina. Lord Godalming, Dr. Seward, and Quincy Morris sit across from them. They are ready to make a plan. Van Helsing says vampires are real. At first, he did not believe they existed. Now he knows the truth. He says they must stop Dracula before more people die. Van Helsing explains that Dracula is as strong as 20 men, is very intelligent, can control wolves, bats, rats, and storms, can become a bat, wolf, or mist, can appear and disappear, has become stronger over many centuries. Van Helsing says failure is worse than death. If Dracula wins, more people will become vampires. Their souls will be lost forever. Everyone understands how dangerous the mission is. Jonathan promises to fight. Quincy Morris joins. Lord Godalming joins for Lucy. Dr. Seward agrees. Van Helsing places a golden cross on the table. Everyone joins hands and makes a solemn promise. Van Helsing says, they work together. They have science and knowledge. They can move freely during the day. Dracula cannot. Dracula cannot eat normal food, cast a shadow, appear in mirrors, enter a house unless invited, stay powerful during the day. He is weak against garlic, holy crosses, a wooden stake through the heart, cutting off the head, a wild rose branch on his coffin, a sacred bullet fired into his coffin. Van Helsing says Dracula was once a famous prince. He was brave, clever, and dangerous. He fought many wars. After death, he became a vampire. Dracula learned dark magic. Van Helsing says he studied at a mysterious school of evil. That knowledge made him even more dangerous. They must find Dracula's hiding place. They must find his coffin. Then they will destroy him using the correct methods. Everyone is ready to begin the hunt against Dracula. Van Helsing continues the meeting. They know Dracula brought 50 boxes of earth from his castle. Some boxes are missing. They decide to find every box. This will help them find Dracula. A big bat lands on the window. Quincy Morris quickly goes outside. Suddenly, everyone hears a gunshot. The window glass breaks. Mina is frightened. Quincy apologizes. He says he tried to shoot the bat. The bat escaped into the woods. Van Helsing thinks the bat may have been Dracula. The group decides to search Carfax. They want to make Dracula's earth boxes useless. Then Dracula will have nowhere safe to hide. Van Helsing tells Mina to stay home. The men want to protect her. Mina is unhappy. She pretends she will sleep, but she worries about everyone. Before leaving, Dr. Seward gets a message. Renfield wants to see him immediately. He says it is very important. Van Helsing and the others go with Dr. Seward. Renfield speaks calmly and politely. He asks to be released from the asylum. He shakes hands with everyone. He remembers many facts about each visitor. Everyone is surprised. Renfield says, "Please let me leave now." He says time is running out. He cannot explain the real reason. He only asks them to trust him. Van Helsing asks Renfield to tell the truth. He promises to help if Renfield explains. Renfield refuses. He says he is not free to tell the secret. Renfield falls to his knees. He cries and begs Dr. Seward, "Please let me leave this place." He says keeping him there will bring disaster. He says he is not mad. He says he is trying to save his soul. Dr. Seward does not believe Renfield. He tells him to go back to bed. Renfield becomes quiet again. As everyone leaves, Renfield says, "Please remember that I tried to warn you tonight." His words sound mysterious. The group leaves for Carfax, not knowing that Renfield may have been telling the truth. Welcome to the next part of Dracula. Jonathan writes in his journal on October 1st, 5 a.m. He is happy because Mina is healthy and strong. She stays behind while the men go to search for Dracula. Jonathan thinks Mina has already done an excellent job by collecting all the important information. Everyone is still thinking about Renfield. Quincy Morris believes Renfield wanted to help them. Dr. Seward is not sure because Renfield once called Dracula his master. Before entering Dracula's house, Van Helsing gives every man a silver crucifix, garlic flowers, a revolver, a knife, a small electric lamp, a piece of the sacred wafer. He warns them that Dracula is very strong and they must protect themselves. Lord Godalming also brings a silver whistle to call his dogs if rats appear. Dr. Seward opens the old front door with a skeleton key. The house is very dark and quiet. Everyone feels that someone may be watching them. The rooms are covered with thick dust and spider webs. Jonathan remembers the map of the house and leads everyone to the chapel. When they open the chapel, a horrible smell comes out. The air smells of blood, death, and decay. The group begins counting Dracula's earth boxes. There were originally 50 boxes. Now only 29 boxes remain. This means 21 boxes are missing. Jonathan thinks he sees Dracula's face in the shadows, but when he looks again, nobody is there. Suddenly thousands of rats appear. The rats fill the entire chapel. Lord Godalming blows his silver whistle. 3 terrier dogs arrive. At first the dogs are afraid, then they attack the rats. The rats quickly run away. The evil feeling inside the chapel also disappears. The group searches every room in the house. They find nothing except dust. The dogs are now calm, showing that Dracula is no longer inside. As morning comes, the hunters leave the house. Van Helsing locks the front door and keeps the key. Van Helsing says the night's mission was successful. No one was hurt. They found out that 21 earth boxes are missing. Mina did not have to see the terrible things inside Dracula's house. He also learns an important lesson. Dracula can call rats and wolves, but ordinary animals like dogs can still fight them. Van Helsing says the battle is not over, but the team has won the first round. Jonathan quietly enters his room. He finds Mina sleeping peacefully. She looks a little pale, but she is safe. Jonathan decides not to tell Mina anything about the night's mission. He believes the horrors are too painful for her. He hopes to tell her everything only after Dracula has been defeated. The next morning everyone sleeps late because they are very tired. Mina is unusually exhausted. When she wakes up she looks frightened as if she has had a bad dream. Jonathan lets her rest. He plans to search for the missing Earth boxes by following the places where they were moved. Van Helsing visits Renfield alone. He hopes to learn something useful. Instead, Renfield becomes angry. He insults Van Helsing and calls him an old fool. Renfield refuses to answer any questions. Van Helsing leaves. Disappointed. The men agree that Mina should stay away from the dangerous mission. They believe they are protecting her. Quincy Morris and Lord Godalming continue searching for the missing Earth boxes. Dr. Seward finishes his hospital work before meeting the others later. Mina notices that Jonathan is hiding something from her. She knows he is doing it because he loves her. Still, it makes her feel sad. She continues writing in her diary so Jonathan will always know she never kept secrets from him. Mina blames herself for Lucy's death. She thinks that if she had never gone to Whitby, Lucy might still be alive. She cries in private but decides to smile in front of Jonathan so he will not worry. Mina ends her diary feeling lonely and worried. She trusts Jonathan and the others, but she does not like being left out. While the hunters continue their dangerous search for Dracula, Mina quietly carries her own burden of fear, guilt, and hope. Mina cannot remember exactly how she fell asleep. She hears dogs barking loudly, Renfield shouting and praying. Then everything suddenly becomes silent. She looks out of the window. Outside is dark and quiet. A strange white mist slowly moves across the grass toward the house. Mina feels frightened. The mist gets closer and closer. Soon it reaches the walls of the house. Renfield shouts even louder, as if he is begging someone. Then Mina hears people struggling with him. She becomes so scared that she hides under her blankets. After that, she falls asleep. In her dream, Mina waits for Jonathan. She cannot move her body. The room becomes cold and full of thick white fog. The fog does not enter through the window. Instead, it slowly comes through the cracks around the door. The mist gathers into a tall white column. Inside the fog she sees a small red light. Soon the red light becomes two glowing red eyes. Mina suddenly remembers Jonathan's story about the vampire women in Dracula's castle. She realizes the dream may be connected to Dracula. Finally, she sees a pale white face coming out of the fog. She faints in the dream. When she wakes up, she decides it was only a terrible nightmare. She thinks she may ask Dr. Seward or Van Helsing for medicine if the dreams continue. The next night Mina sleeps without dreaming. However, she wakes up feeling very weak. She spends most of the day resting. Later, Renfield asks to see her. This time he is calm and kind. When Mina leaves, Renfield kisses her hand and asks God to bless her. His kindness makes Mina cry. Jonathan and the other men spend the day searching for clues. Mina tries to cheer them up. Later they ask her to go to bed early. Before sleeping, Mina asks Dr. Seward for a mild sleeping medicine because she has not been sleeping well. He gives her a gentle sleeping drink. After taking it, Mina suddenly worries. She fears that if danger comes during the night, she may not be able to wake up. As sleep slowly takes over, Mina writes, "Good night." Mina believes she is only suffering from bad dreams and exhaustion. She does not realize that the strange white mist, the glowing red eyes, and the pale face may be signs that Dracula has already come dangerously close to her. This ends the next part of chapter 19 and prepares the story for one of the novel's biggest turning points. Welcome to the next part of our Dracula series. In this chapter, our friends face a terrifying truth that will change everything, as they fight to save the soul of the one they loved. Let's dive into today's story together. Jonathan goes to find a worker named Thomas Snelling, but Snelling is drunk and cannot remember anything. Snelling's wife tells Jonathan to speak with another worker named Joseph Smollett. Smollett remembers everything. He checks his old notebook and tells Jonathan where Dracula's earth boxes were delivered. Welcome to the next part of our Dracula series. In this chapter, our friends face a terrifying truth that will change everything, as they fight to save the soul of the one they loved. Let's dive into today's story together. Smollett also remembers another worker named Sam Bloxam. Bloxam helped move more boxes. Smollett promises to find Bloxam's address and mail it to Jonathan. Jonathan returns home feeling hopeful. Jonathan finds Mina asleep. She looks pale and tired. He feels sorry for her because everyone is hiding the truth from her. Still, he believes it is the best way to protect her. The next morning, Jonathan receives Bloxam's address. He goes across London looking for him. After many questions, he finally finds Bloxam working at a new building. Jonathan pays him for information. Bloxam tells Jonathan something shocking. He carried 9 more earth boxes from Carfax to a large empty house in Piccadilly. The old man who helped him carry the boxes was incredibly strong. Jonathan immediately realizes the old man was Count Dracula himself. Dracula opened both houses by himself and easily. Jonathan walks to Piccadilly. He finds the house described by Bloxam. The building is old, dusty, and appears empty. The windows are dirty. The shutters are closed. Jonathan believes this is another secret hiding place prepared by Dracula. He wishes he knew who owned the house because that information might help them get inside. Jonathan wants to know who bought the empty house in Piccadilly. He visits a house agent. The agent is polite but refuses to tell him. He says the information is private. When Jonathan explains that he works for Lord Godalming, the agent becomes friendlier. He promises to send a letter with any information he is allowed to share. Jonathan returns home. Mina looks pale and tired. Even so, she tries to smile and make everyone happy. Jonathan feels sad because he must keep secrets from her. After dinner, he takes Mina upstairs to rest. Then he joins the others to discuss Dracula. Jonathan reads his diary aloud. Van Helsing says they are getting closer to finding all of Dracula's hiding places. Quincy Morris asks an important question. How will we get inside the Piccadilly house? Breaking into that house will be much harder than breaking into Carfax. The group decides to wait until morning before taking action. Before sleeping, Jonathan checks on Mina. She is sleeping peacefully. She still looks pale, but better than before. Jonathan hopes she will soon return home to Exeter, where she can recover. Dr. Seward visits Renfield. Renfield no longer cares about catching flies. He begins talking about life, souls, and God. He says he does not want souls. He only wants life. He already has everything he needs. His strange words confuse Dr. Seward. Later, Renfield calls Dr. Seward back. Dr. Seward asks him about souls again. Renfield becomes upset. He covers his ears and says he does not want souls following him. When Dr. Seward mentions flies and spiders, Renfield suddenly says they are no longer important. He hints that something much greater is waiting for him. Dr. Seward realizes Renfield is changing once again. The hunters continue moving closer to Dracula's secret hiding places. At the same time, Renfield's strange behavior becomes even more mysterious. He no longer wants tiny creatures like flies and spiders. Instead, he speaks as though he is waiting for something far more powerful. suggesting that Dracula's influence over him is becoming stronger. Dr. Seward jokes about the soul of an elephant. Renfield suddenly becomes very angry. He shouts, "I don't want any souls." He says he already has enough worries. For a moment, Dr. Seward thinks Renfield may attack him, so he blows his whistle to call the attendants. A few seconds later, Renfield becomes calm again. He politely apologizes to Dr. Seward. He asks not to be locked in a straitjacket. He says he needs freedom so he can think clearly. Dr. Seward is surprised because Renfield speaks politely and intelligently. Dr. Seward writes down what he has learned. He notices several strange things. Renfield no longer wants flies or spiders. He says he does not want souls. He believes he will never lose his life. He seems to expect a better kind of life. Suddenly Dr. Seward has a frightening thought. He believes Count Dracula has secretly visited Renfield. Dr. Seward tells Van Helsing about his suspicions. Together they visit Renfield. This time Renfield is singing happily. He has put sugar out to attract flies again. He completely ignores their questions. The two doctors leave without learning anything. Lord Godalming receives a letter from the house agents. The letter says, "The house at 347 Piccadilly has been sold. The buyer used the name Count de Ville. He paid with cash. Nobody knows anything else about him." The hunters realize that Count de Ville is actually Count Dracula using another name. Everyone prepares for the next mission. Jonathan continues searching for clues. Lord Godalming and Quincy prepare horses. Van Helsing studies old books in the British Museum. They plan to destroy all of Dracula's earth boxes during daylight. When Dracula is weakest, they hope the next day will finally begin the end of Dracula. That night, Renfield seems quiet. Suddenly, a terrible scream comes from his room. An attendant rushes to Dr. Seward. He says Renfield has been badly hurt. When they find him, Renfield is lying on the floor, covered in blood. The chapter ends with everyone rushing to help him. The hunters are now very close to discovering Dracula's secret hiding places. At the same time, Renfield is mysteriously attacked just after Dr. Seward realizes Dracula may have visited him. The chapter ends with a dramatic cliffhanger, leaving readers wondering who attacked Renfield and whether Dracula has already made his next move. In the previous chapter, we witnessed Dracula's terrifying attack on Mina Harker, and Van Helsing's group made a desperate decision to begin their final hunt. In this chapter, they set out to destroy Dracula's hidden resting places, hoping to save Mina before the curse takes complete control. Let's dive into Dr. Seward's diary, October 3rd. Dr. Seward writes down everything that happened. He does not want to forget even one small detail. When he enters Renfield's room, he finds Renfield lying on the floor in a pool of blood. Renfield's face is badly bruised, and one side of his body cannot move. It looks like his back or neck is badly injured. The hospital attendant is confused. He cannot understand how Renfield could have hurt himself so badly. Dr. Seward immediately sends for Professor Van Helsing. Van Helsing quickly arrives with his medical tools. After examining Renfield, he discovers that the real injury is a serious skull fracture. Blood is putting dangerous pressure on Renfield's brain. Arthur and Quincy also arrive after hearing about the accident. They quietly wait while Van Helsing prepares for emergency brain surgery. The room is silent and tense. Everyone fears that Renfield may die before he can reveal something important. Van Helsing decides there is no more time to wait. He performs the operation immediately. After the surgery, Renfield slowly opens his eyes. At first, he thinks everything was only a bad dream. But then he realizes it was all real. Renfield asks for water and brandy because he knows he is dying. Before his death, he wants to tell everyone the truth. Renfield says that after Dr. Seward left him, Dracula came to his window in the form of mist. This time Dracula looked solid and angry. He smiled with his sharp white teeth and silently promised Renfield many lives if he obeyed him. Dracula showed him huge flies, strange moths, and finally thousands of red-eyed rats. The rats stopped when Dracula raised his hand. Renfield finally opened the window and invited Dracula inside, calling him, "Come in, Lord and Master." The next day, Dracula ignored Renfield. Later, Dracula entered again without asking permission. Renfield noticed that Dracula smelled different. He suddenly felt that Mina Harker had somehow been involved. Renfield explains that when Mina visited him earlier, she looked pale and weak, as if much of her blood had been taken. He became angry after realizing Dracula was feeding on her. When Dracula returned that night, Renfield fought him with all his strength to stop him from hurting Mina again. For a moment, Renfield believed he might win, but Dracula looked directly into his eyes. Renfield instantly became weak. Dracula lifted him high into the air and threw him violently onto the floor, breaking his skull and badly injuring him. After hearing Renfield's story, Van Helsing finally understands the terrible truth. Dracula is inside the house. Everyone quickly grabs their weapons, knowing they must act immediately before it is too late. Van Helsing tells everyone that they are facing a very dangerous enemy. They hurry to Mina Harker's room. The door is locked. Van Helsing says they must break it open because Mina may be in danger. Dr. Seward, Arthur, and Quincy push hard against the door. It bursts open with a loud crash. Inside the room, they see a terrible sight. Jonathan Harker is lying on the bed, unconscious, and breathing heavily. Mina is kneeling on the bed. Count Dracula is standing beside her. Dracula holds Mina's hands tightly with one hand, and with the other he forces her face down against his chest. Blood is running from a wound on Dracula's chest, and Mina's nightdress is stained with blood. The scene looks horrible, like someone forcing an animal to drink. When Dracula sees them, his eyes burn with rage. He jumps toward them. Van Helsing quickly holds up the sacred wafer, and the others raise their crucifixes. Dracula suddenly stops and shrinks back in fear. A dark cloud covers the moon. When Quincy lights a match, Dracula has disappeared into mist and escaped under the door. Mina screams in terror. Blood is still flowing from the wound on her neck. Van Helsing says that Jonathan has been placed into a vampire-like sleep. He wakes Jonathan by splashing cold water on his face. Jonathan wakes and is shocked when he sees Mina covered in blood. He wants to chase Dracula, but Mina begs him not to leave her. Van Helsing calms them and tells them they are safe for the moment because the crucifix is near them. Mina looks at the blood on Jonathan's robe and cries, "Unclean, unclean. I must not touch him or kiss him anymore." She fears that she has become dangerous to her husband, but Jonathan holds her tightly and says nothing will ever separate them. Arthur then reports that Dracula has burned all of Dr. Seward's notes and phonograph recordings. He also reveals that Renfield is dead. Quincy says he saw a bat flying westward before dawn, so Dracula has escaped to another hiding place. Finally, Van Helsing gently asks Mina to tell them exactly what happened. Mina explains that she drank the sleeping medicine but could not sleep easily. Terrible thoughts filled her mind. Later she awoke and saw white mist in the room. Jonathan was sleeping so deeply that she could not wake him. Then the mist changed into the figure of a tall man dressed in black. Mina immediately recognized him, Count Dracula. He had a pale face, red lips, sharp white teeth, red eyes, and the scar on his forehead. Mina says she wanted to scream, but she was too terrified to move. The passage ends just as Dracula begins to speak to her. Dracula quietly warns Mina, "Be silent. If you make a sound, I will kill Jonathan." Mina is terrified. She cannot move or cry for help. Dracula holds her tightly and bites her neck again to drink her blood. Mina says she feels weak and dizzy. She cannot stop him because of Dracula's supernatural power over his victims. After drinking her blood, Dracula smiles cruelly. Then he tells Mina that she and her friends tried to defeat him, but they have failed. He says he has defeated kings and armies for hundreds of years, so defeating them is easy for him. Dracula tells Mina, "You are now part of me. My blood is your blood. You will answer when I call you." Then he tears open his own chest with his sharp nails. Blood flows from the wound. He forces Mina to drink his blood. Mina has no choice. She cries to God, asking why this terrible thing has happened to her. She rubs her lips, trying to wipe away what Dracula forced her to do. As Mina finishes telling her story, the sun begins to rise. The room slowly becomes brighter. Jonathan says nothing. His face becomes pale and full of sorrow as he realizes everything that happened. The group decides that someone will always stay with Jonathan and Mina to protect them. Dr. Seward ends his diary with a sad thought. The sun rises today over the unhappiest house in the whole world. Jonathan Harker writes in his diary because he feels that if he stops writing, he might lose his mind. He says everyone must eat breakfast first because Van Helsing believes they will need all their strength for the difficult day ahead. Jonathan promises to write down every detail because even small clues may help them defeat Dracula. Mina encourages everyone to keep faith in God, even during their darkest time. Dr. Seward explains what happened to Renfield. The hospital attendant heard loud voices. Then he heard Renfield cry, "God! God! God!" A loud crash followed. When the attendant entered the room, Renfield was lying dead on the floor with a broken neck. The group knows Dracula killed him, but they also know nobody would believe the truth. So Dr. Seward decides that the official report will say Renfield died in an accident. The group decides not to hide anything from Mina anymore. Mina agrees. She says she has already suffered the worst pain possible, so she wants to know the whole truth. Van Helsing asks her an important question. "Are you afraid that you may become dangerous to the people you love?" Mina calmly answers, "If I ever become a danger to them, I will die." Van Helsing is shocked. He tells Mina she must never kill herself. If she dies before Dracula is destroyed, she could become an undead vampire just like him. Instead, she must stay alive and keep fighting until Dracula is completely destroyed. Mina bravely promises that she will live and continue fighting. Van Helsing explains that Dracula still has many boxes of earth hidden around London. These boxes are Dracula's safe places. During the daytime, Dracula cannot change into mist or disappear whenever he wants, so today is their best chance to destroy all of his hiding places. The first place they will search is Dracula's house in Piccadilly. Van Helsing believes they may find important papers, keys, and clues there. Jonathan wants to rush there immediately, but Van Helsing tells him to be patient. He says the right plan is better than acting too quickly. Jonathan asks how they will get inside Dracula's house. Van Helsing suggests hiring a locksmith to open the door. If everything looks legal and normal, the police will not interfere. Lord Godalming offers horses and carriages. Quincy Morris suggests using ordinary cabs instead so they do not attract attention. Everyone agrees with Quincy's idea. Mina begins helping the group plan their mission. Jonathan notices she is becoming very pale and weak. He quietly worries that she may slowly become like Lucy. When the group discusses who should stay with Mina, Jonathan wants to protect her himself, but Mina refuses. She says everyone is needed to defeat Dracula. She tells Jonathan, "Go. God can protect me." Jonathan finally agrees. Van Helsing reminds Jonathan that Dracula drank a lot of blood the previous night, so he will sleep late during the day. When Mina remembers what happened, she begins to cry. Van Helsing feels very sorry for hurting her feelings by mentioning it. Mina forgives him and tells everyone to eat breakfast so they will have enough strength for the dangerous mission. Before leaving, Van Helsing places holy protection around Mina's room so Dracula cannot enter during the daytime. Van Helsing gently places the sacred wafer on Mina's forehead. Suddenly, Mina screams in terrible pain. The sacred wafer burns her skin like hot metal. A painful scar appears on her forehead. Mina cries, "Unclean! Unclean!" She believes the mark shows that Dracula's curse has touched her. Jonathan holds Mina while everyone else quietly cries. Van Helsing comforts her. He tells Mina that one day, when Dracula is finally destroyed, God will remove the mark from her forehead. These words give everyone hope again. The group says goodbye to Mina and travels to Carfax. Inside the old chapel, they find Dracula's boxes of earth. Van Helsing opens each box. He places a piece of the sacred wafer inside every box. This makes the earth holy, so Dracula can never rest there again. When they finish, Van Helsing says that if they can destroy all the other hiding places, Mina may still be saved. Jonathan sees Mina waving from the asylum window as they leave. Lord Godalming and Quincy hire a locksmith. Jonathan, Dr. Seward, and Van Helsing wait nearby in Green Park. The locksmith calmly opens the front door. A policeman walks past but thinks everything is normal. After the locksmith leaves, the others quietly enter the house. The house smells exactly like Carfax. Inside the dining room they discover 8 boxes of earth, but 1 box is missing. The group opens every box and places the sacred wafer inside, making them useless to Dracula. Then they search the house. They find property documents for Dracula's houses, letters, paper, and writing supplies, a wash basin with water stained red like blood, a large bunch of keys to Dracula's other houses. Lord Godalming and Quincy take the keys and the addresses. They leave to destroy the remaining boxes hidden in Mileland and Bermondsey. Jonathan, Van Helsing, and Dr. Seward stay inside the Piccadilly house, waiting for either their friends to return, or for Count Dracula himself to appear. Chapter 24 marks the beginning of the final hunt for Count Dracula. The group prepares for a long journey to catch him before he can safely return to his castle. At the same time, Mina Harker shows remarkable courage and wisdom, playing a vital role in the plan to stop Dracula. But time is running out, and the danger continues to grow. Dr. Seward and the others wait anxiously for Lord Godalming and Quincy Morris. Jonathan Harker looks very different. His hair has turned white from shock and sadness, but he is still determined to destroy Dracula. Van Helsing explains that Dracula is becoming smarter every day. He learns from his mistakes and slowly improves his plans. If nobody stops him, he could create many more vampires. Van Helsing explains that Dracula first needed help moving his boxes of earth. Later, he learned to move them himself and hid them in many secret places. The hunters have already destroyed almost all of Dracula's safe hiding places. Only one remains. Then Mina sends a telegram warning them that Dracula has left Carfax and is moving south. Lord Godalming and Quincy Morris arrive with good news. They destroyed all the remaining boxes at 2 different locations. Now the group waits inside the house because they know Dracula will soon return. Quincy quickly places everyone in the best position for an attack. Suddenly, Dracula jumps into the room with incredible speed. Jonathan attacks him with his cookery knife, but Dracula dodges at the last second. The knife cuts Dracula's coat instead, causing money and gold to fall onto the floor. The hunters raise their crucifixes and sacred wafers. Dracula is forced to step back because he cannot face their holy weapons. Before anyone can stop him, Dracula grabs some of his money, smashes through the window, and escapes into the street below. Suddenly, Dracula jumps into the room with incredible speed. Jonathan attacks him with his cookery knife, but Dracula dodges at the last second. The knife cuts Dracula's coat instead, causing money and gold to fall onto the floor. The hunters raise their crucifixes and sacred wafers. Dracula is forced to step back because he cannot face their holy weapons. Before anyone can stop him, Dracula grabs some of his money, smashes through the window, and escapes into the street below. The hunters realize they have failed to catch Dracula. They return home to protect Mina. Mina welcomes them with courage even though she is afraid. She gently comforts Jonathan, kisses him, and tells him not to lose hope because God is with them. Everyone eats dinner together, and although they are still sad, they feel a little stronger. Mina tells everyone something important. She says they must destroy Dracula, but they should not hate him. She believes Dracula's soul is trapped in evil, and destroying the vampire will finally free him. She asks everyone to show mercy, even to their greatest enemy. Her kindness surprises everyone. Jonathan cannot forgive Dracula. He says he wishes he could send Dracula's soul to hell forever. Mina gently stops him. She reminds Jonathan that if she ever becomes a vampire, she will also need mercy. Her words touch everyone's heart. The men begin to cry, and Jonathan falls to his knees, holding Mina tightly. Van Helsing quietly leads the others out, leaving the husband and wife alone to pray. Van Helsing protects Mina's room with holy objects so Dracula cannot enter. The men take turns guarding the house through the night. Later, Jonathan writes in his diary. He says only one earth box remains, and only Dracula knows where it is. Jonathan still has hope because Mina is kind, brave, and full of faith. He thanks God because Mina sleeps peacefully without nightmares. He knows the final battle against Dracula is getting closer. Later that night, Jonathan wakes up because Mina hears someone outside their room. Jonathan quietly opens the door and sees Quincy Morris guarding them. Quincy tells him everything is safe. The hunters are taking turns protecting Mina all night. Mina smiles with relief and thanks God for having such brave friends. Before sunrise, Mina suddenly has an important idea. She asks Van Helsing to hypnotize her before dawn. Everyone gathers quietly around her bed. Van Helsing begins the hypnosis, and Mina slowly falls into a deep trance. She opens her eyes, but she seems far away, as if her mind is somewhere else. Van Helsing asks Mina simple questions. She says she cannot see anything because it is dark. She hears water. She hears sailors walking above her. She hears an anchor chain being raised. Van Helsing realizes the truth. Dracula is on a ship leaving London. The hunters finally have a new clue. Van Helsing explains that Dracula escaped London because almost all of his earth boxes were destroyed. He took his last earth box onto a ship. The Count believes he is safe, but Van Helsing promises they will follow him wherever he goes. The hunters now know their next mission is to chase Dracula across the sea. After breakfast, Mina asks why they must continue chasing Dracula if he has already left England. Van Helsing gives a sad answer. He says Dracula can live forever, but Mina cannot. Because Dracula has bitten and marked her neck, time is now their greatest enemy. If they do not destroy Dracula soon, Mina may slowly become a vampire. Hearing this terrible truth, Mina faints, and Jonathan catches her before she falls. Van Helsing leaves a recorded message for Jonathan. He tells Jonathan to stay with Mina because protecting her is now his most important duty. Van Helsing is certain that Dracula has already left England and is returning to his castle in Transylvania. He says Dracula escaped because the hunters destroyed almost all of his earth boxes. The professor believes they will defeat Dracula in the end if they stay united and never lose hope. Jonathan reads Van Helsing's message to Mina. She feels much better after hearing that Dracula is no longer in England. The couple spends the day reading all of their diaries again. Jonathan still feels hope, but every time he sees the red mark on Mina's forehead, he remembers that Dracula is still a danger. The hunters search London's docks to discover which ship Dracula escaped on. They learn that only one ship left for the Black Sea that night. The ship's name is Serena Catherine. They visit the dock and question the workers. Everyone describes the same strange man, very tall and thin, pale face, bright eyes, dressed in black with a straw hat. The workers recognize him as Dracula. Dracula brings his last earth box to the ship by horse and cart. He pays the captain to carry it safely. Before the ship leaves, a thick fog suddenly surrounds only the dock. The strange fog delays the ship. When the fog clears, Dracula is gone, but his earth box is already on board. The hunters realize Dracula used his supernatural powers to escape without anyone noticing. Van Helsing discovers that the ship is sailing to Varna, on the Black Sea. The hunters decide to travel over land because it will be faster than the sailing ship. Their plan is to reach Varna first and destroy Dracula while he is still sleeping inside his earth box during the daytime. Van Helsing explains why they cannot stop chasing Dracula. He says Dracula has already infected Mina. Even if Dracula never attacks her again, she could slowly become a vampire after she dies. The hunters believe they have a duty to protect Mina and save other people from Dracula. They promise to destroy him, no matter how far they must travel. Van Helsing says Dracula is not just a monster. He is intelligent, patient, and never gives up. For hundreds of years, Dracula prepared his plan to come to England. He learned new languages, new customs, and how people lived. Now that he has gained experience, he could become even more dangerous if he is allowed to escape. After a long discussion, the group decides not to rush. They will sleep, think carefully, and meet again the next morning. Everyone wants the best plan before beginning the final journey. Mina feels peaceful for a short time, but when she sees the red scar on her forehead in a mirror, she remembers that Dracula's curse is still with her. The next morning, everyone feels stronger after sleeping. Dr. Seward notices that Mina sometimes forgets her pain, but he also notices something strange. She often stays silent, even when she seems to know something important. He worries that Dracula's blood is beginning to affect her mind. Van Helsing secretly tells Dr. Seward that Mina is beginning to change. He notices her teeth are becoming slightly sharper, her eyes sometimes look harder, she has long moments of strange silence. Van Helsing fears Dracula may be able to read Mina's thoughts because they are connected through the vampire's blood. To protect everyone, he decides Mina must no longer know the group's secret plans. This decision breaks his heart, but he believes it is necessary. The hunters begin planning their journey. Van Helsing says Dracula's ship will need about 3 weeks to reach Varna, but the group can travel there by land in only 3 days. This means they should arrive long before Dracula. Quincy Morris suggests taking Winchester rifles as extra protection because Dracula's homeland is full of wolves. Everyone agrees. Jonathan notices something strange. Mina chooses not to join the meeting. He does not understand why everyone seems relieved by her decision. He watches Mina sleeping peacefully and thanks God that she can still find moments of happiness. When Mina wakes up, she asks Jonathan to make a very serious promise. She asks him never to tell her the hunter's plans against Dracula while the mark remains on her forehead. She fears Dracula may force her to reveal their secrets. Jonathan sadly agrees. Although he keeps his promise, he feels as if a wall has grown between them. That evening Mina is cheerful and calm. Her courage lifts everyone's spirits. For the first time in many days, the group feels a little hopeful. Mina sleeps peacefully through the night. The next morning, Mina asks Van Helsing to come to her room. She says something that surprises everyone. She wants to travel with the hunters. Van Helsing refuses at first because the journey will be dangerous, but Mina explains that Dracula can control her mind whenever he wishes. She fears he could force her to secretly leave Jonathan or reveal the group's plans. She believes she will actually be safer with the hunters than staying behind. Mina tells the hunters they are stronger together. She says they can protect each other, and she may also help them. Because Van Helsing can hypnotize her, she may unknowingly reveal where Dracula is. Van Helsing agrees. He praises Mina's wisdom and decides she will travel with the group to Varna. The hunters meet to prepare for Dracula's arrival. Van Helsing explains the plan: travel to Varna, board Dracula's ship as soon as it arrives, find the earth box, place a wild rose on the box so Dracula cannot come out, open the box during daylight and destroy Dracula. They know everything must happen quickly. Quincy Morris says he will not wait for the perfect moment. If he finds Dracula's box, he will open it immediately, even if many people are watching. He is ready to risk his own life to destroy Dracula. Van Helsing praises Quincy's bravery and says everyone is willing to make the same sacrifice. Everyone spends the day preparing for the dangerous journey. Jonathan writes his will. He leaves everything to Mina if she survives. If she does not survive, their loyal friends will inherit everything. The group understands that any of them could die during the hunt. As sunset approaches, Mina becomes restless. Jonathan feels that something important is about to happen. He believes every sunrise and sunset now brings a new danger, or perhaps a new clue. He writes everything in his diary so Mina can read it later when she is safe. Just as he finishes writing, Mina calls his name. The hunters are fully prepared for their journey to Varna. Mina joins the mission. Everyone accepts the possibility of death, and the final chase after Dracula is about to begin. This is the final part of our journey, and the most exciting part of Dracula. The hunters are now very close to Dracula. Everyone has a different mission, but they all have the same goal: to find Dracula and destroy him before he reaches his castle. Jonathan and Lord Godalming chase him by steam launch, while Dr. Seward and Quincy Morris follow along the river on horseback. Meanwhile, Mina and Van Helsing travel toward Dracula's castle. The weather is getting colder. Snow is coming, and every minute is important. Will they catch Dracula before he reaches his castle? Or will Dracula escape once again? Let's continue with the final and most thrilling part of the story. The group meets Mina shortly before sunset. They have learned that sunrise and sunset are special times for her. During these times, Dracula's control over her becomes weaker, and Mina can think and act more like her normal self. Mina tells Jonathan, Van Helsing, Quincy, and Godalming that they may all be together freely for the last time. She knows that they are going to face a dangerous mission against Dracula. She says there is a terrible poison in her body and soul. She fears that Dracula may completely control her. Mina says that if she becomes completely controlled by Dracula, she wants her friends to kill her. She asks them to make sure that Dracula cannot continue using her after death. She wants them to give her peace. Quincy Morris kneels before Mina and promises that he will do what she has asked if the terrible time comes. Mina becomes emotional and thanks him. Van Helsing, Lord Godalming, and Dr. Seward also promise Mina that they will do their duty if she becomes completely changed by Dracula. Jonathan is deeply upset because he is Mina's husband. Mina tells Jonathan that he must also promise to kill her if she becomes Dracula's creature. She tells him that she loves him more than anyone, but she does not want him to hesitate if the time comes. Mina makes one more request. She asks Jonathan to read the burial service over her someday. Jonathan is very sad because he does not want to think about Mina dying. Jonathan begins reading the burial service. Everyone kneels around Mina. The scene is very sad, frightening, but also beautiful because all of them deeply love and care for Mina. Later, Jonathan writes about their journey. On October 12th, they leave Charing Cross, travel to Paris, and then take the Orient Express toward Varna. They are waiting for the ship Tsarina Catherine, which they believe will help them continue their pursuit of Dracula. They arrive in Varna around 5 o'clock. Lord Godalming goes to the consulate to look for a telegram, while the others go to the Odysseus Hotel. Jonathan is mainly thinking about Mina and the arrival of the Tsarina Catherine. Jonathan is happy because Mina looks healthier and stronger. Her color is returning, and she sleeps a lot during the journey, but sunrise and sunset remain special times for her. At sunrise and sunset, Van Helsing hypnotizes Mina. He asks her what she can see and hear. Mina answers him, allowing the group to learn information that she cannot normally remember. The group waits in Varna for the ship Tsarina Catherine. Their plan is to follow Dracula and stop him before he reaches his castle. During hypnosis, Mina says she can hear waves hitting the ship. She hears the water rushing, the ropes and sails moving, and the wind blowing strongly. This tells Van Helsing that the Tsarina Catherine is still at sea and moving toward Varna. Lord Godalming receives telegrams from London every day. Each message says that the Tsarina Catherine has not yet been reported. The group continues waiting for the ship. Van Helsing explains their plan. They want to get onto the ship after sunrise but before sunset. Dracula cannot cross running water by himself, so he cannot leave the ship. Because he is hiding inside a box, they hope to find the box and destroy him before he wakes. The group expects that officials and sailors may cause problems. Godalming says they have enough money to make things easier. They jokingly call this plan Judge Moneybag, meaning that money can solve their problems. Mina's hypnotic report is still the same, lapping waves and rushing water. This means the ship is still somewhere at sea. Godalming gets permission to search the ship's cargo. The group makes a clear plan. If they find Dracula inside the box, Van Helsing and Seward will destroy him, while Jonathan, Quincy, and Godalming will stop anyone from interfering. They arrange for officials to tell them immediately when the Tsarina Catherine is seen. They are ready to act. After a whole week of waiting, they finally receive important news. A telegram from Lloyd says, Tsarina Catherine reported this morning from Dardanelles. The ship is getting closer. Dr. Seward says everyone becomes extremely excited when they hear the news. Mina does not know what is happening because they carefully hide the information from her. Van Helsing and Seward are worried because Mina is becoming increasingly tired and sleepy. Van Helsing secretly examines Mina's teeth while she is hypnotized. He is watching for signs that her teeth are beginning to become sharper. If this happens, they know that Dracula's influence over Mina may be becoming stronger. Seward says that if Mina becomes completely changed, they may have to take a terrible action. He calls this euthanasia, meaning ending someone's life to prevent greater suffering. At noon, there is still no news of the ship. Jonathan remains calm, but his hands are cold. Seward discovers him sharpening his large cookery knife. Jonathan is clearly preparing himself for Dracula. Mina falls into a deep sleep. Mina becomes very sleepy and falls into a deep sleep. Van Helsing and Seward are worried at first, but she later wakes up looking stronger and healthier. At sunset, she gives her usual hypnotic report. The Count is still traveling toward his destination. The ship still has not arrived. The group thinks fog may have delayed it because other ships have reported fog around the area. They continue watching the sea. Mina says that the waves sound very faint. Van Helsing becomes very worried. He fears that Dracula may be escaping them. He says that strange things can happen to souls and memories during hypnosis. Finally, they receive a telegram. Tsarina Catherine reported entering Galatz at 1 o'clock today. The ship did not go to Varna. It has gone to Galatz. The group immediately realizes that their plan must change. Van Helsing is serious and raises his hand toward heaven. Lord Godalming becomes very pale. Quincy tightens his belt, showing that he is ready for action. Mina becomes very pale and prays. Jonathan smiles bitterly, but his hand immediately goes to his cookery. Van Helsing asks, "When does the next train start for Galatz?" Mina surprisingly knows the answer, 6:30 tomorrow morning. Everyone is surprised. Mina explains that she has always loved studying train schedules. She used to make timetables for Jonathan, and she learned the train routes carefully because she knew that they might have to travel toward Dracula's castle through Galatz or Bucharest. Van Helsing calls her a wonderful woman. Van Helsing organizes everyone. Godalming will get the train tickets. Jonathan will contact the ship's agent. Quincy will speak to the vice-consul. Seward will stay with Mina and Van Helsing. They will all leave for Galatz the next morning. Mina says something very important. She feels freer than she has felt for a long time. She says she wants to help the group and return to writing and thinking as she used to. The younger men are happy to hear this, but Van Helsing and Seward remain worried because they know something may be changing inside Mina. Van Helsing talks privately with Dr. Seward. After the three men leave, Van Helsing asks Mina to find Jonathan's old diary. When Mina leaves the room, Van Helsing tells Seward that he thinks something has changed. He has a new idea, but he is afraid that the idea might be wrong. Van Helsing believes that Dracula used Mina during hypnosis to learn what the group was doing. Dracula may have made Mina see him inside his box on the ship, because Mina could hear the waves and the ship. Dracula discovered that the hunters were waiting for him in Varna. Van Helsing believes Dracula now knows that the group is waiting for him. Dracula has therefore separated himself from Mina so that she cannot easily discover where he is. Van Helsing thinks this may actually become a mistake. That helps them. Van Helsing tells Seward that they must not tell Mina what happened during her trance. He wants Mina to remain hopeful and brave. He also believes Mina's intelligence is extremely important in defeating Dracula. Mina returns with Jonathan's diary. Mina comes back with several pages of Jonathan's typewritten diary. Van Helsing reads them carefully. He suddenly becomes very interested because Jonathan's diary contains an important clue about Dracula's past. Jonathan had written about Dracula's ancestor, a great warrior who repeatedly attacked Turkey. When that warrior was defeated, he returned to his own country, prepared himself again, and came back to fight another time. Van Helsing realizes that Dracula has done the same thing. Dracula came to England to conquer a new land. The hunters defeated him and made his position dangerous, so Dracula escaped back toward his homeland just as his ancestor had once retreated across the Danube. Van Helsing realizes that Dracula's repeating a pattern from his past. Van Helsing tells Mina to explain what she understands. He wants to hear her idea because he believes her mind is very intelligent and useful. Mina realizes that Dracula is a criminal who follows his old habits when he is in danger. Mina explains, Dracula is selfish, and his mind works like a child's in some ways. When he is in danger, he returns to the same methods he used before. He has one main goal: to survive and protect himself. Mina realizes something wonderful. Because Dracula is concentrating on escaping and protecting himself, his power over her has become weaker. She says that her soul feels freer than it has felt since the terrible night when Dracula attacked her. She thanks God for this. Van Helsing tells Mina that Dracula did use her mind. Because of Mina's trance, Dracula learned that the hunters were waiting in Varna. This caused the group to wait in the wrong place while Dracula's ship went toward Galatz. Van Helsing explains that Dracula's selfish plan may become his biggest mistake. Dracula thinks he has escaped the hunters completely. He believes that because he has cut himself off from Mina's mind, she can no longer discover him. But Van Helsing believes Dracula is wrong. Van Helsing explains something very important. Because of Dracula's blood connection with Mina, she can still reach him spiritually during certain times, especially around sunrise and sunset. Mina has been able to enter a trance and sense where Dracula is. Dracula does not realize that Mina still has this ability. Van Helsing says that Dracula has created his own problem. Dracula thinks he has escaped. But by separating himself from Mina, he has also stopped himself from knowing what the hunter know. The hunters can still use Mina's special connection to follow him. Van Helsing says that they are not selfish like Dracula. They believe that God is helping them. They are willing to risk their lives to stop Dracula. They will follow him wherever he goes. Van Helsing tells Dr. Seward to write down everything that happened. When Jonathan, Quincy, and Godalming return, they will read the information and understand the new plan. Mina also continues typing the important information on her typewriter. On October 29th, the group travels by train from Varna to Galatz. Everyone has finished preparing for the journey. They are ready to continue their hunt for Dracula. Before sunset, Mina prepares for her usual hypnosis. This time, Van Helsing has much more difficulty putting her into a trance. He asks her several questions before she finally answers. Mina says, "I can see nothing." She hears water moving around the ship, men calling, oars moving, ropes and chains being dragged, and a gun firing in the distance. Then she feels air blowing on her. Mina suddenly sits up and raises her hands. The group understands that her hypnotic connection with Dracula is ending. Then she opens her eyes and calmly asks, "Would none of you like a cup of tea?" She does not remember what happened during the trance. Van Helsing explains that Dracula is now close to land. Dracula has probably left his earth box, but he still needs to reach the shore. If he cannot get onto land before sunrise, he may be trapped on the ship during the daytime. The group waits until morning because Mina may be able to tell them more when the sun rises. They are very anxious because every minute is important. At sunrise, Mina enters hypnosis again. She says, "All is dark. I hear lapping water and creaking wood." But the sun rises before she can say anything more. The group must wait until sunset. The train is already 3 hours late at Bucharest. This means they will arrive at Galatz after sunrise. They hope that Mina can give them 2 more hypnotic messages before they arrive. At sunset, Mina enters hypnosis again, but it is even harder than before. She says, "Something is going out." She feels something like a cold wind passing her. She hears strange voices, rushing water, and wolves howling. After the trance, Mina is cold, tired, and weak. She cannot remember what she said. She thinks deeply about the strange words when the others tell her what happened. The next morning, the group is very close to Galatz. Van Helsing tries to hypnotize Mina earlier than usual, but it does not work until just before sunrise. During the trance, Mina hears water and wood creaking. Then she hears cattle far away. She begins to describe another strange sound, but she suddenly becomes pale. Van Helsing desperately tells her, "Go on. Speak." But the sun rises. Mina wakes and remembers nothing. The train whistles as they approach Galatz. Everyone is extremely anxious and excited. They know that Dracula's trail has brought them here. When they arrive, Quincy takes Mina to the hotel. The others divide their jobs. Lord Godalming goes to the vice-consul, while Jonathan, Van Helsing, and Seward go to the shipping agents to learn about the Tsarina Catherine. Jonathan, Van Helsing, and Seward visit Mackenzie Steinkopf, the shipping agents. They are taken aboard the Tsarina Catherine. There they meet the captain, Donaldson. Captain Donaldson says the voyage from London was unusually fast. A strong wind pushed the ship toward the Black Sea, but something strange happened. Whenever they approached another ship, port, or coastline, fog appeared. The fog stayed around the ship for several days. The sailors could not see other ships or the coastline. The captain began to feel that something unusual was happening. After passing the Bosphorus, some sailors became frightened by a large box that had been placed on the ship in London. They wanted the captain to throw it into the river. The box had been brought aboard by a strange-looking old man. The Romanian sailors believe the box is connected with evil. They want to throw it into the Danube. But the captain refuses because the box belongs to his owners. One morning before sunrise, a man arrives with papers from England. He has permission to take the box marked for Count Dracula. The captain is actually happy to get rid of the strange box. The captain gives them a receipt. The man who took the box was named Emanuel Hildesheim. This gives the hunters their next clue. The group finds Hildesheim at his office. He explains that he was paid to receive Dracula's box before sunrise so that it could avoid customs. He then gave the box to a man named Petrov Skinsky. The group searches for Skin Sky, but he has disappeared. His landlord says that Skin Sky left 2 days earlier and sent the house key and rent by messenger. The hunters are once again stuck. Suddenly, they hear terrible news. Skinsky's body has been found inside the wall of a churchyard. His throat has been torn open as if by a wild animal. People believe that a Slovak is responsible. The group believes that Dracula's box is still being transported somewhere by water, but they do not know where it is going. They return to the hotel with heavy hearts to meet Mina. When everyone meets again, they discuss whether Mina should be told everything. The situation is becoming desperate. They know that bringing Mina into the full plan is dangerous, but she may be their best chance of finding Dracula. Jonathan is finally released from his promise not to tell Mina everything. Mina discovers an important clue about Dracula. The group realizes that Dracula is traveling by water inside his box. He cannot leave the box during the day because people carrying it might discover what is inside. They decide to follow him quickly before he reaches his castle. The group divides into teams. Lord Godalming and Jonathan will follow Dracula by a steam launch on the river. Dr. Seward and Quincy Morris will follow the riverbank on horses. Van Helsing and Mina will travel toward Dracula's castle. They all carry weapons because they expect danger. Jonathan does not want Mina to go near Dracula's castle. He is afraid that Dracula's power may hurt her again. He becomes very emotional because he remembers the terrible things that happened to Mina. Van Helsing tells him that he will protect Mina. Jonathan finally accepts the plan and says that they are in God's hands. Mina says goodbye to Jonathan. The group prepares everything very quickly. They get a steam launch, horses, maps, money, weapons, warm clothes. Mina and Van Helsing will travel by train and then continue by carriage toward the Borgo Pass. Mina is very sad because she knows that she may never see Jonathan again. Jonathan and Lord Godalming travel at night in their steam launch. They believe Dracula's boat will travel through the Sereth River and then the Bystritza River. The night is dark and cold. Jonathan is worried about Mina and cannot sleep. He knows that she is traveling toward Dracula's castle while he is chasing Dracula on the river. During the journey, Jonathan and Godalming stop and check boats. They are looking for Dracula's large box. Some people become frightened when they see the men and their bright lamp. Some even kneel and pray. Later, they hear that a large boat passed through the river with extra men on board. This makes them think that Dracula may be getting closer to his castle. Dr. Seward and Quincy Morris are traveling on horseback along the river. They have almost no time to rest because every minute is important. The weather becomes colder, and they see signs that snow is coming. They are worried that heavy snow could stop their journey. If the snow becomes too deep, they plan to use a sledge to continue. The group learns that Godalming's steam launch has been stopped by an accident while trying to pass through dangerous rapids. The local Slovak boats know how to pass the rapids using ropes and special steering. With their help, Godalming fixes the launch, and they continue the chase. However, the boat is damaged and keeps stopping sometimes. Mina and Van Helsing arrive at Veresti. Van Helsing tells Mina that hypnotizing her has become difficult. The only thing she could say that morning was, "dark and quiet." Van Helsing leaves to buy a carriage and horses for their journey. They have more than 70 miles to travel. Van Helsing returns with the carriage and horses. They prepare a large amount of food because they may not find good food for a whole week. He also buys many fur coats, warm clothes, and blankets because the weather is becoming extremely cold. They are preparing for a long and dangerous journey through the mountains. Before leaving, Mina becomes very emotional. She's afraid of what might happen to her and Van Helsing. She knows that they are entering a dangerous journey and trusts that God will protect them. Her greatest concern is Jonathan. She hopes that whatever happens, he will always know that she loved and respected him deeply. Mina and Van Helsing are now ready to leave. Behind them, Jonathan and Godalming continue the chase on the river, while Seward and Quincy are racing on horseback. The weather is getting colder, the journey is becoming more dangerous, and Dracula is getting closer to his castle. Mina and Van Helsing travel quickly through the cold mountains. They change horses and continue toward the Borgo Pass. Mina is worried about Jonathan, but she remains brave. Van Helsing hypnotizes Mina at sunrise. She can only say what she senses: darkness, creaking wood, and roaring water. This tells them that Dracula is still traveling on the river. The mountains become higher and wilder. Mina and Van Helsing continue toward the Borgo Pass. They know they are getting very close to Dracula's castle. Van Helsing finally sees the castle in the distance. He feels both happy and afraid because he knows the final part of their journey is near. Van Helsing makes a holy circle around Mina to protect her. Mina tries to leave the circle, but she cannot. Van Helsing realizes that Dracula's evil has affected her. During the night, the horses suddenly become frightened. They scream and pull against their ropes. Van Helsing realizes that something supernatural is nearby. Snow and mist begin to form strange shapes. Van Helsing slowly realizes that the three vampire women Jonathan saw before are standing near them. Mina tells Van Helsing not to leave the circle because it is safe. She is strangely calm while the vampire women move closer. Van Helsing sees the scar on Mina's forehead and understands why the women cannot enter the circle. The three vampire women come closer through the snow. They smile at Mina and point toward her. Their sweet voices make the scene even more frightening. The three vampire women call Mina to come to them. Van Helsing is frightened, but he looks at Mina and sees fear and horror in her eyes. He realizes that Mina is still not one of them. Van Helsing uses the holy wafer and the fire to protect himself and Mina. The vampire women cannot enter the protected circle. They stay outside and laugh. They wait through the cold night. When the sun rises, the vampire women disappear into the snow and mist. Van Helsing feels hopeful again. When daylight comes, Van Helsing discovers that all the horses have died. Mina is still sleeping deeply, and he becomes very worried about her. The steam launch has an accident, so Jonathan and Lord Godalming lose valuable time. They leave the boat and continue the chase on horses. Jonathan is terrified for Mina. Seward and Morris see the Skaney traveling with Dracula's large wagon. They know the final chase is beginning. Van Helsing leaves Mina safely inside the protected circle and goes to Dracula's castle. He breaks open the old doors and searches for the vampires' resting places. Inside the castle, Van Helsing finds the three vampire women sleeping in their tombs. Their beauty almost distracts him, but he remembers Mina and continues his dangerous mission. Van Helsing finds a huge tomb with one word written on it: Dracula. He puts a holy wafer inside the tomb so Dracula can never use it as his resting place again. Van Helsing completes his terrible work. The vampire women are finally destroyed and return to dust. Their souls are released from their vampire existence. Van Helsing returns to Mina. She wakes up and tells him they must leave the terrible place. She believes Jonathan is coming toward them. Mina and Van Helsing travel east through the snow. They look back and see Dracula's enormous castle high above the mountains. From the mountain, Mina sees the river far below. It looks like a dark ribbon crossing the white snow. Van Helsing watches carefully for danger. Suddenly, Van Helsing sees something in the distance. A group of horsemen is coming through the snow. In the middle is a large wagon, the wagon carrying Dracula. Mina and Van Helsing hide in a rocky shelter high in the mountains. They watch the road below and wait for Dracula's wagon. A group of gypsies ride across the snowy mountains. They are carrying Dracula's large wooden box in a wagon. Jonathan, Quincy Morris, Dr. Seward, and Lord Godalming chase the gypsies through the snow. They must reach the wagon before sunset. Wolves come down from the mountains. They gather around the travelers and howl as the sun begins to set. The four men surround the gypsies and order them to stop. The gypsies prepare to fight, but Van Helsing and Mina also point their weapons at them. Jonathan reaches the wagon and throws Dracula's heavy wooden chest to the ground. He and Quincy quickly open the box. Dracula lies inside the wooden chest. His face is pale and his red eyes look toward the setting sun. Jonathan attacks Dracula with his cookery knife. He cuts Dracula's throat just as the sun reaches the mountain tops. Quincy Morris stabs Dracula in the heart with his Bowie knife. Together, Jonathan and Quincy destroy the Count. Dracula's body suddenly crumbles into dust and disappears. The curse is finally broken. Quincy Morris is badly wounded. Before he dies, he sees Mina free from Dracula's curse and dies with a peaceful smile. As the sun rises, Mina is finally free from Dracula's curse. The long nightmare is over. Years later, Jonathan and Mina have a son. They name him Quincy in memory of their brave friend. Dracula's castle remains standing in the empty mountains, but the evil that lived there is gone.